Good morning, friends, and welcome to yet another awesome session of Mindful Living. We truly appreciate your taking out the time and joining us this Saturday morning. It is my promise to you that you will find this investment of 1 hour one of the best investments of time that you would have done. In the session today, we have Mr. Sunil Deshmukh with us, who is going to talk about his book and his fascinating journey of over 30 years in the corporate sector. Sunil is a global board director, executive leadership coach, keynote speaker, thought leader, motivational speaker, and an author. He currently serves as the Global Chair Emeritus and Director of IMA USA. He was the first Asian to be appointed as the Global Chair of IMA. He also serves as the Independent Director of Kinetic Communications Limited, is on the advisory board member of Talent at Work UAE, mentor at Mentor My Board Mumbai, brand ambassador, strategic advisor to CEO of competent boards in Canada, governing council member of Christ Higher Education Leadership Institute, Bangalore, guest faculty and mentor at IIM Nagpur. Um, and in his earlier life, he has been the CFO, CEO, Managing Director, and Global CEO in a distinguished career spanning 30 years from 1989 to 2019. By education, he's an MCOM, LLB, FCMA, FCS, and CMA. And he has done the Advanced Management in Leadership program from UK and a Fellow of Value-Based Leadership from Aspen, USA. Sunil's journey is a testament to the fact that small and humble beginnings cannot limit a glorious destiny. When some of you, if you would have seen Mother Ganga, how she starts at Gangotri, when you look at Mother Ganga at Gangotri, it's a small stream. And it is difficult to imagine, the mighty river that Mother Ganga becomes in her journey of over 2,500 kilometers, providing water, nourishment to millions of people. Sunil's journey has been phenomenal, but not without challenges. However, he took each challenge as a stepping stone, and he turned every adversity to his advantage. Rather than become bitter with the numerous challenges that he came his way, he used each one of them to become better. And that is what his journey is about. I got to know Sunil a couple of years ago when, as a fellow mentor at IIM Nagpur. And I consider myself truly blessed to have him as a friend and an inspirational figure in my life. Sunil, as you can see, wears many hats and is very busy. And Sunil, we are truly privileged to have you as a speaker on Mindful Living platform today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunil. Friends, some of you may be joining us for the first time, and I'll take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Ashish Kumar. I am the founder of Mindful Living. We started Mindful Living community in 2020 when the first lockdown happened. Few of my friends reached out to me and requested me to conduct a session on mindfulness to help them with the stress and anxiety that the first lockdown was causing. One thing led to the other, and today we have grown to be a vibrant community of over 1,000 people who connect every week through sessions like this, and through the through on weekends through sessions like this, and through the week in different WhatsApp groups, supporting each other in living consciously. In my previous life, I worked with organizations like Xerox, Tata AIA Life Insurance, Future Generali, and Marsh. I'm an MBA from Symbiosis Pune, a cost accountant, fellow of Life Management Institute, and a certified mindfulness meditation teacher. I am, as I mentioned earlier, a mentor to students of IIM Nagpur and an author of book Beyond Limits: Stories That Inspire. As an author, I know how difficult it is to put our thoughts into words, and I really appreciate Sunil for taking those efforts and putting them down for everyone to benefit from. And I've seen people who try to hide the humble background they have, the small city background that they have, and the challenges they have faced in their life. But Sunil has bared it open. This is something which is truly amazing about him. And I urge each one of you to pay attention and listen to his story. That may help you solve some challenge that you or someone in your life may be facing. I would urge you to keep your cameras on and stay actively engaged. This is not a radio show, but it'll be. I'll urge you to pay full attention and be active. We will have question and answers at the end of the session around 9:45 a.m. or so. We will open up the session for Q&A. But before that, if you have any questions or comments, please remain actively engaged in the chat and keep sharing your comments. Use the reactions button to show love, and if anything resonates with you, to stay connected with us, to know more about the awesome sessions we conduct every weekend, please join our Mindful Living WhatsApp community, and to check 250 plus videos that we have on the previous sessions that we have done, please subscribe to the Mindful Living YouTube channel. The community that we have is a no nonsense community, no good morning, good night messages, no random forwards. So only people who are supporting of each other in living consciously. So on that note, Sunil, I invite you to share with us about your fascinating journey.
Yeah. Good morning to all of you. And thank you, Ashish, for inviting me for your event, your session, your webinar. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the people who are attending this session on a gloomy Saturday morning when it's raining outside or it's dark outside. Instead of sleeping or taking a rest into your bed and having a nice cup of coffee with pakoras or breads, you have come to attend this course. It shows your commitment for your self-development. And I really congratulate that. And thank you very much for coming in. And Ashish, thanks for introducing me, and really great to be with you and your community. I'm really nostalgic a little bit, you can say that. You have such a great community. The song which you played at the beginning was very, very relevant of multiple things. But what I want to start with is that we are all born with the fear. Human beings are born with the fear. When a baby is born, first fear is a fear of sound. If a baby does not cry, what the doctor does is they tap and or clap, so the sound comes in, then baby starts crying. So we are born with the fear of sound. We are also born with the fear of uncertainty. We as a human beings do not want uncertainty in our life. And how do we overcome that uncertainty or that fear? That's the biggest challenge all of us have to face in the life. I had gone through a lot of uncertainty in my life. And I would say that I have learned a trick, or I have learned what I can say, mechanism how to overcome the uncertainty and became comfortable in uncertainty. And of course, we all have fear of falling down, falling from a height or all those things. But as we grow up in our corporate life or personal life, we develop fear of failure. We don't want to fail. We always want to succeed. And that fear of failure also creates a lot of problems in human life. And my book really talks about more about failures and less about my successes. And it's nothing wrong to talk about your failures. I always use this terminology: your vulnerability is not your weakness, it's your strength. There's no harm in talking about your vulnerability, that I'm weak in this, I don't know how to do this. Nothing wrong in that. But we have been taught that we should never talk about our weaknesses and all those things. So with this beginning, let me first start about my book now. My book named Videshmukhi was first published in Marathi, my mother tongue, on 23rd of February this year by the hands of Dr. S.B. Mujumdar, Symbiosis founder. And that Marathi book consisted of 14 chapters and around 253 pages. Then a lot of my audience being global, international, I lived abroad for 17 years, came back to India, worked multiple boards. So all my global audience started asking me, why don't you write your book in English? So eventually I wrote my book in English. It's a sort of translation, but not 100% translation. So I published my English book on 24th of August last month in Pune by the hands of Dr. Arun Firudia, chairman of Kinetic Group. And I was happy to inform you that Arun Firudia is
I think there is a disruption in electricity at Sunil's end. Uh, Give us a couple of minutes to for him to restore his connection. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments for Sunil, please share in the chat and I'll make a note of it when Sunil comes back. Hello,
Okay,
Dr.
Amazon.
Yes, Surya sir.
This is available on Amazon.
The book is available on Amazon. We will be sharing the link with you after the session in an email. So you will have it. Otherwise, you can look it up on Amazon. It's very much available.
Okay, thank you.
Just give me a minute. Let me also check with him if he can come back. So how does Saturday morning look like for you? What is your expectation from the session? Anything to keep the conversation going while we're waiting? Or would you like me to do a 5-10 minute mindfulness session while we are waiting for Sunil to come back?
That would be great.
That would be great. Okay.
Mindfulness session would be great.
All right, Mukesh. So I request you to please sit straight with your back and neck in a straight line, chin parallel to the ground, eyes gently closed, and gentle smile on your face. And bring your entire attention, to the area at the entrance of your nostrils. Begin by observing every breath that comes in and every breath that moves out. Incoming breath, outgoing. This will be a short practice. And I would urge you to fill your lungs in fully and exhale completely. I call this 1 minute mindfulness. Typically, in a minute's time, you will be able to breathe about 6 to 7 times, inhaling completely, exhaling fully. This is a very powerful practice which you can do any number of times in a day. When you're waiting for the lift, or waiting to meet someone, or at a signal, rather than fret and fume, just breathe deeply. This is an instant mood changer and very powerful reset. In a couple of seconds from now, we will come to the end of this practice. Continue to breathe deeply. Before we complete our practice, consider setting an intention that this practice of being mindful will help you and everyone you come in contact with. Thank you for practicing mindfulness with me.
Sorry, Ashish, my sincere apologies. I was talking about uncertainty, and then the uncertainty appeared suddenly. The entire building is switched off on electricity. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I'm through my mobile now, and I think we should be okay as far as things
Yeah,
go
we
down.
can hear you and see you clearly, Sunil. And this became a very good opportunity for us to practice mindfulness and a great way to deal with any uncertainty that comes our way.
Absolutely, and thanks for that mindfulness, the timeliness of the mindfulness, I would say.
So over to you, Sunil.
Thank you, Ashish, and my sincere apologies to the audience that I have to go through, and you have to go through along with me through this uncertainty, but we have overcome it now. So I was saying I launched my book on 24th of August, the English version of my book by the hands of Dr. Arun Firodia. English book consists of around 288 pages and 17 chapters. This book I have dedicated to my late parents and my guru. I personally believe I have a guru and believe in Guru Shishya Parampara, so dedicated to my guru. And this book is not an autobiography. This book is sort of my memoir or my life journey. I don't want to call it as an autobiography because I have not done something that great to write an autobiography. My father first asked me, I think around 25 years back, I should write a book on my life. And I used to laugh at my father in a good sense that I have not done anything in my life to write the book. But when I was elected as the global chairman of Institute of Management Accountants of America for the year 2024-2025, and in America, in San Antonio in Texas, when they invited me in a big auditorium with 1,000 people sitting, finance leaders of the world sitting there, and they announced my name to come to the stage to take over as a global chairman. So that walk from my sofa or the chair, I was sitting in the first row, all the way to the stage, what came into my mind, what thought process happened in my mind. And when I returned back from the stage after getting the stash with my name written on a golden pin and declared as a chairman, what came to my mind? So it's basically a book is a flashback of what happened to me. I became nostalgic. I remembered a lot of things. I was emotional. And when I came and sat on my chair after getting my global chairmanship, the stash, my wife was there. I was talking to her that maybe it's a time has come for me to write down a book or write down a story about my life. And that's how it started. The After I started, obviously my first criteria was I should write a book in my mother tongue because I studied in a Marathi medium all the way up to my BCom examination. I passed my BCom in Marathi medium. I was not able to speak a single sentence of English up to the age of 20 or 21, and I very proudly say that there was no need for me to speak an English sentence up to that time. But what has happened, I was an average student in the school, 55%, 60% marks all the time, never more than that. And suddenly what happened is, in the BCom examination, I stood first in the entire university, which is Marathwada University in Aurangabad. And that had changed my life. And people started calling it as a fluke that I was never a bright student, and how come I became how come I stood first in the entire university. And I always make this comment now: flukes can lead to fortunes if you are prepared. So it was my duty to prove that that fluke was not a fluke, and there was some efforts, there was some consistency, discipline, commitment behind that. And that's how it started. So I wrote my first book in Marathi with the intention that people who are coming from the rural background, those who have studied in vernacular language, they should never think that their language or their background is a limitation for them to grow. So with that intention in my mind, I wrote a book in Marathi. Then obviously within 6 months, I wrote a book in English. After that, I started talking about the books, publishing the books and all those things. Interestingly, the English book has been given, a foreword has been given to my English book at least by 10 people, some of them being the world's number one coach, Marshall Goldsmith, Hella Bank Jorgensen from Canada, Nick Johnson from Singapore, multiple, the Dean of Oxford University, Mr. Lily Jory, multiple people have given a foreword to this book, and I feel proud and privileged to have the forward given to my book by such a great people. My entire journey from all the way from my school days to all the way to my IMA global chairmanship is written in a book. In the book, I have written everything about my life. It's an open book now, except my bank balance. Everything is there in the book. So there is nothing hidden. There is no fictional story in the books. It's real life stories, as in what happened. I have absolutely written like that. I have given the names of people also that who helped me or how it happened with me and all those things. I personally think all of you have a great story, and I make this statement with a lot of responsibility. All of you have a great story. The difference only is that I have written down my story. I have dared to write down my story and publish it. But I know all of you have great stories. It's my request to all of you to think on these lines. Why don't you write your own story? Why don't you write your own book? It will be inspiring to yourself, your family, your friends, and a lot of people who follow you. So that was also the one purpose of writing a book, is that even if I am able to inspire one person in my life, in my community, or my readers, my job of publishing the book is done. Now, in this book, there are multiple stories how I became the chairman of the IMA. That's of course, the icing on the cake. But there are multiple stories that how I failed multiple times. First failure, I would say, is that I went to Africa. I went to East Africa in Uganda in the year 1997, and I returned within 6 months. What made me to return within 6 months? There is a story around that. I don't want to tell you the complete story because I want you to read the book to read the story. But what I'm saying is that we all have big intentions. I also had big intentions, big dreams. But one of the dream or one of the uh, aspiration I had was to go and work abroad, earn tax-free money because there was no income tax. I, being a finance professional, understand money little better, and earn a lot of money, become a non-resident Indian, get a respect and whatever. I went to Uganda and I returned within 6 months due to some problems, and those problems are written in the book. The issue was not the return. The issue was after I returned, what the people started talking about me. And by that time, I had married, I had two sons, two children born to me. I came back without a job in the hand. And I was jobless for almost 4 months in India. So how did I overcome those 4 months? You have to run the family, you have to convince the parents, you have to convince the society, you have to convince the friends that you don't have anything in your hand, and you have come back leaving a great job. And before leaving to Uganda, I was working with a company called Goodyear Tires. I was their finance leader, I was their head of finance and legal and company secretarial. And that position was vacant. When I returned from Uganda, that position was still vacant because only 6 months. Company came and offered me, hey, Sunil, you are already enjoying this position, still vacant. Why don't you come and join? I made a comment there, which was not liked by them at that point of time. I told them that I would have joined your company in a position of a CEO and not the CFO position. Means I can definitely join because it's vacant, but that's not my intention. I should join only if I am able to join as a CEO of your company. And I refused to join that company. And I waited for 4 months, and obviously I got another job. I joined with a company called Foster's, the Australian beer company. And then eventually, obviously, I sort of started working again and all those things. Now, my aspiration to go abroad, get some reputation, get some money, was consistently driven with multiple objectives. One is obviously the financial security. I came from a very lower middle class background. My father was a school teacher in a government high school. We had never seen money, or we had never seen a good life from that point of view. So my first intention was to ensure that I create a financial security to me, my family, my parents. So after learning from mistake in Uganda, I went to South Africa, the second global journey of mine. I went to South Africa, and this time I didn't do the mistake. I went to Johannesburg and I told the company that before I join, I would like to see the company, I would like to see the office, I would like to see the business. So I traveled at the company's cost before joining South Africa, stayed there for 1 week, saw everything, came back and resigned from the existing company, which was Foster's India Limited, and then joined there. Even after joining South Africa, I started enjoying. But then I realized that my personal value systems and my corporate value systems are not matching. There is a conflict in personal values vis-a-vis corporate values. And one of the biggest problems was I was a finance director in a very large telecom company. And what I found in South Africa was that my company was sort of involved in some sort of activities which are not fitting in some sort of corruption and all those type of things in order to get the business. Not at a big level, but even at a small level to get a business, they were doing some sort of activities which are not fitting in my personal value system. So the biggest debate in my mind at that point of time, what should I do now? I have made one blunder mistake of returning from Uganda. Now I have come to South Africa. My family is with me. My children are studying in a British school in Johannesburg. A good job, a good salary, good country, good city, good people. But companies' value systems are not matching with my own value systems. I decided to quit. And this is one story I always tell everywhere, that if your personal values are getting compromised or conflicted with your corporate values, it is a time for you to rethink whether you would like to compromise your personal values or not. Because once you start compromising your personal values, it will create an emotional pressure, emotional stress on you over a period of time. So there again, I came back, returned from South Africa. Again, same problem, right? Returned to India with the children now who were studying in the school. Back to Mumbai. I was studying, living in Mumbai that time. No job in hand. Again, the society, people, what they will say, and all those things, right? लोगों का काम है कहना, लोग कुछ तो कहेंगे, like that. Again, I was very confident that I will find a job. Again, after 3 to 4 months layover or stopover, I got a job with McDonald's, and I was the CFO of McDonald's in Mumbai. So there are certain stories. What I wanted to tell through these stories is that it's not end of the life if you go through these type of problems. Risk taking is a part and parcel of your survival. Very important is that we should have the big dreams and we should work towards achieving those big dreams. We should have a commitment towards the big dreams. We should have a plan how to achieve those big dreams. There are multiple things we need to do to achieve our dream. I always say that do not stop dreaming big. It is not necessary that your every single dream will become true, but that does not mean you stop dreaming. You have to dream. You have to dream big. Don't dream small things, right? Big dream things, but then create an action plan. How you will create those dreams into reality? How will you convert those dreams into reality, which will help you to overcome or to achieve your dreams. One of the very important aspect which I have written during in my book is that having a right mentors at right point of time in the life. When I started my life, my career, and when I stood first in the BCom, and I had no mentors. To anyone I go and meet and ask them, they will not guide me properly. Maybe sometime intentionally, sometime unintentionally, they may not have a knowledge also what I'm asking them, right? Like for example, when I stood first in BCom, I went and asked my college principal, what should I study further? Whether I should do chartered accountancy, cost accountancy, or MBA or what? So my principal advised me, don't do all these things. You can become a good teacher in the college. So just do MCom and do B.Ed examination and come as a professor, we'll hire you. So his intention was not bad. He was looking at his own convenience in his own college and all those type of things. So having a right mentor at right point of time is very, very important. Now, how do you identify a right mentor is a process. Sometimes a mentor will walk into you without your knowledge, but most of the time you have to identify your own mentor. And I always make this statement, finding a mentor is not a speed dating. It takes time, it's a process. Both parties should be comfortable with each other. So work towards finding the mentor, and you need a mentor at each stage of your life. When you are entering the corporate world, you need a mentor. When you are become, for example, a general manager or manager, you need a different type of mentor. When you want to become, let's say, CEO or CXO level, you need a different type of mentor. You need a mentor, even philosophical side, your spiritual side. So how good mentors, and once a mentor, always a mentor. I have 5 mentors, and I'm very proud. I started getting my first mentor at the age of 35, but that has changed my life drastically. One of the example of risk taking, I've given multiple examples of risk taking in my book. One which comes to very the first exposure to risk taking is when I was doing my BCom second year, I got a job in a bank. In those days, on the basis of 12th examination, you can write a bank examination, be a banking services recruitment board. And I got a job in a bank called United Western Bank. During holidays, the summer holidays of the college, they offered me a job and they gave me a posting in a place called Udgir, which is the border of Maharashtra and Karnataka, which I had never been to that place. And they never gave me my own hometown. I belong to a place called Nanded in Maharashtra. So they sent me to a place called Udgir. So it was my first time going out of the home, going out of my whatever small home comfort zone, you can say. I went to that place, worked in Udgir in a bank, United Western Bank, for 2 to 3 months. During these 2 months, my results for second year BCom declared. And I got an inland letter written by my father saying that, Sunil, you have again stood first in your university, and your college principal came home to inform me that Sunil has stood first in the second year also. It's better ensure that he stood first for the third year also. And that inland letter came to me in a bank. I opened an inland letter. I was happy. I bought some, sweets, pedas, yes, typical Indian way. I started distributing those sweets within my bank. So when I went to my bank manager, his name was Uday Joshi, and there is a reference to him in the book, a complete picture with him. So when I giving him this switch to this bank manager, he asked me one question. Sunil, किस चीज के पेड़े हैं? Why are you distributing the sweets? Are you getting married? That was his answer. So first question, why are you distributing sweets and are you getting married? I said, no, sir, this is not about marriage. This is about my exam results. I stood first in the BCom second year examination in my college. My father sent me a letter, blah, 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 blah. He asked me one question. What the hell you are doing here? So bank manager asked me one question. If you stood first, then what the hell you are doing here? That was one question. I still remember that was a Friday afternoon, around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the bank. Next day was a half a day in branch, bank, Saturday half a day. That Saturday I went home to my father parents' place. Saturday, Sunday half a day, and Sunday full day. And I told my parents I want to leave my job. Now, leaving a bank job at that point of time was a big thing. You get a confirmed salary, you are financially secured. Bank jobs are never having any problem. No one sacks in the bank to anyone those days. And luckily, my parents were very supportive. Having a supportive family supporting you is also very important. So my father said, I have no problem if you want to leave the job. But only thing is, remember, why are you leaving the job? Are you clear the purpose why you want to leave the job? I said, yes, I'm very clear. I want to stood first. I want to again get first in my university. So he said, remember, you will leave the job, you will come here. And if you don't stood first, what the people will talk about you, you should be prepared for that. I said, yes, I'm prepared for that. I left the bank, I left the job, and then rest is history. Again, I stood first in the university, and then now I met that Uday Joshi manager last year here in Pune after almost 42 years or 40 years. I invited him for dinner at my home. He came with his wife, and I asked him, do you remember that something like this happened and all those things? He said, no, I don't remember anything like that. But I remember you got some sweets. That's what I remember. But I never remember that I asked you a question, and because of that question, you resigned and you left the bank and all those things. I said, you were the first person who told me to think upon. And I thought on your question. So again, reflecting, asking question, reflecting on question is a big thing, which nowadays we have become so transactional in our life. We don't think, we just move on. Everything is a transaction. So don't kill your thought process. Don't kill your ability to reflect upon or to think over. So that was one example. I thought I should give it to you here. There are multiple examples. So mentoring, I told. Second thing I very early realized in my life is that if you want to be a successful is you have to have a continuous education. You need to update your knowledge on a continuous basis. I have already done my engineering, I have done my ICW, I have done my CA. That is means your it's your past laurels does not define who you are going to be. You have to continuously evolve, continuously resolve yourself, learn new things, and move ahead. So I particularly followed that route. I have done multiple qualifications, multiple degrees, but I always say this very openly that we should save our money and we should save our holidays for our personal skill enhancement. I want to buy a car, I want to buy an iPhone. That's okay. I'm not saying you don't do that. But you also have to keep aside some money for your personal development every year, not once in a lifetime. So I still save money for my further education. Your leaves, you get 30 days annual leaves. Keep 1 week or 10 days for your personal development. Go and do some course, go and do some studies. So continuous development of your skills, knowledge is very, very important as far as I personally believe. And it is again coming out in my book, if you I became a CEO of a very large multinational company based in Middle East. So I came back from South Africa. Then I worked in McDonald's as a CFO for 3 years. Then I got a job in Middle East in Jordan. And I joined as a finance director with a very large fertilizer chemicals company with a promise that they will make me a managing director. Which, and in corporate world, these type of promises are never kept. But for some reason, I don't know, I trusted that promise and I joined them. And they really made me a CEO of a company within 1 year. Now, I was very happy on one hand that they have fulfilled their promise. What a good type of people I'm working with. But the biggest problem was I was the first non-chemical engineer to run such a big an organization, which was that time having a turnover of 125 million US dollar. This I'm talking 2007, 2008, 2009 time. So labor union was very, very happy that they thought this guy does not know anything about the company manufacturing process, not a chemical engineer. So we can manage this guy and negotiate a lot of salary increments and bonuses and all those things. So labor union invited me for a dinner once. And the past three CEOs will never go for a dinner invited by labor union. They will never go because they say we are a CEO, we don't join these type of dinners, whatever. So I went for a dinner with the labor union, and you will not imagine, they offered me camel meat and biryani. In Middle East, there's a mansaf, which is parallel to our biryani, but made with the camel meat. And this was done intentionally to test me, how good I am with the labor union, my food habits, and all those things. And I'm born and brought up as a vegetarian. I ate the camel meat and that biryani or that rice along with my labor union team and labor union committee members sitting down on the floor with the hands. And they were shocked to see that because it has never happened in their life in past. All the three previous managing directors, CEOs were expats. None of them would come for dinner. None of them will sit with them, meet with them, and all those type of things because there was a Chinese wall created by these people. Now, this simple gesture of mine, and which I call now as a cultural competence, all right, we call culture eats strategy for breakfast, the famous terminology. But understanding the culture and assimilating with the culture is not only by reading the books, but you have to act also. You have to show to them. So that had changed my life completely. Next 5 years in Jordan for me, there was no problem. Every single decision what I took, my labor union was never able to oppose me, or they were very happy that this is someone like us who will meet us, who will sit with us, who will eat with us, and who is our type of person. So that was happening. So that was one example. Other thing very interesting and very important is in life, we will always go through some tense situations, stressful situations. I always believed that one should use humor to lighten the things. And I always say that use humor in your home, at your home, use humor even in the board meeting. Who is stopping you from using the humor in the board meeting? Of course, you have to be careful because humor has got its both sides, right? Positives and negative. You should know what type of joke to crack, whether that cultural people in that culture, those people will understand, respect that or not. But humor has played a huge, huge role in my personal life. I worked in Jordan for 5 years. Then from there, I moved to Singapore. I lived in Singapore for 10 years. I was a group CEO, managing multiple businesses. At the peak, I was handling almost $1 billion US, 1,000 people, 5 countries. And very interesting businesses I have handled right from supply chain, logistics, distribution, manufacturing, chemical, medical devices, automobile distribution. Very, very interesting businesses. What I learned in all these businesses is that everything in the corporate world or even in our personal life also is all about people management. How do you manage the people? If you understand how to manage the people, if you understand what are the emotions of the people, your intelligence is secondary here. And the terminology, your IQ versus EQ, your intelligence quotient gives you first job, but your emotional intelligence gives you first promotion. And that's where I understood it very clearly that if you know how to manage people, how to play with their play in a good sense, how to manage their emotions, how to manage your own emotions, you will definitely overcome every single problem, whatever happens. It's all about people management. Have a right type of people, inspire the right type of people at the right point of time, and that will definitely take you forward in your life. In addition to this, I have given multiple examples, like when I went to IMA, and there are multiple examples of my rejection, but one of the examples of rejection happened to me. When I was in Singapore, I applied for the Global Board of Directors position in IMA. This was in somewhere 2017, I think 2018. They rejected me. And I was surprised that how can they reject? I was sitting at that point of time on the board of around 10 to 11 companies globally. And I applied for the global board position of IMA, which is a not-for-profit organization. And they rejected me. I won't say I was upset, but I was concerned that what is that is missing in me that IMA does not want me to become the director on their global board of America. I applied second time, 18, 19 or 19, 20, again rejected. Now this time I was really concerned. I said, there is something happening here that either I don't understand what is IMA or I don't understand what I am doing or what is happening. So I remember the story. I told my wife that this is the second time someone has rejected in my life. First time I can understand, second time they were rejected. Now I need to take a call on this, whether this is the right place for me to go or not. So I said, anyway, I will apply third time and then I will see what happens. So I applied third time and obviously I got elected on the global board of IMA. And they gave me the dean position of IMA Leadership Academy in USA. I did once I inside, I had done multiple things. But interesting story is after two rejection and third time I got selected, but applied for IMS global chair position. In first attempt, I got elected as IMS global chairman. And that was the difference I have created. There's so much work and so much transformation and change I tried to do within IMA. I was the one of the first. There are IMA is 106 years old body, 150,000 members worldwide, 200 countries they are present. I'm the first non-American sort of who became a chair. There was one lady before me who was originally American, but later on settled in Netherlands. And I changed so many things in IMA. I became the chairman. Very few people got elected as the chairman in first application. And of course, during my chairmanship, I did multiple things in IMA, which are totally contrasting. Like I introduced the concept called corporate membership within the IMA. IMA does the Certified Management Accounting Education Program, like we have ICAA Institute or CA Institute. I say that why only individuals can become the members? Why not corporates can become the member? So I bought corporate membership. I created a certified management accounting program in Japanese language, went to Japan and Tokyo, launched in Japanese language. Again, my understanding of culture in Japan, they respect their own language. They don't want to study in English language. And we launched the program in English language. So these are some of the things. One of the things very interesting, which I had always with me, but I was not knowing the right terminology for that, which is continuous study, continuous education, development, and all those things. So I was talking to Dr. Mashelkar one day here in Pune. I think 6 months back, he invited to meet me. And I asked Dr. Mashelkar, and you all know Dr. Mashelkar is a famous, renowned scientist in India. And I asked Dr. Mashelkar, I said, Dr. Mashelkar, you have achieved so many things in your life. You have got highest number of PhDs in the world. I think he holds some 50 PhDs or whatever. Have you ever thought that you have to achieve something in your life you have not achieved or something like that? Is there anything that you have not achieved? You must be a very happy, contented person. And he made a concept. He explained to me a concept called divine discontent. Divine discontent. He said, Sunil, let me tell you a story. I said, yes, sir, please. So he also came from a very rural, poor background. His mother used to do a lot of hard work to feed this boy, teach this boy. Father died early and all those things. He said, I promised my mother that I will try to get a Nobel Prize, or I will at least be nominated for Nobel Prize in chemistry or whatever his subject is there. So I said, yeah, that's fantastic. So what happened? He said, Sunil, you will not imagine, I was never nominated for Nobel Prize. And he said, that is divine discontent. I still want, and he's now what, 82 or something like that. He said, this is what happens. We have so much brain power. We can continuously learn, continuously do multiple things in our life. My biggest dissatisfaction in my life was that I told my mother that I will get nominated at least for Nobel Prize if I don't get the Nobel Prize, but I was never even nominated for Nobel Prize. And that's my divine discontent. And it's the same. I mean, you cannot be happy. You have to continuously, you should to be hungry all the time. What is next for me? What I want to achieve, what I want to achieve, how I want to achieve. In addition to this, I also personally believe that your network is your net worth. In today's corporate world, if you do not have a network, if you do not have a right type of people connected with you, even though you are very smart, you are very intellectual, you are a great visionary, you are a great whatever CEO, CFO, CXO, You need to have your network. So create your network. Your network is your net worth. And I apply that terminology of ultra high network individual, like ultra high net worth individual in the wealth management as they talk about. In addition to that, I also believe that it is very important for us as a human beings. We need to give back to our society. If we have achieved so many things, how do we give it back to our society? So teaching could be, coaching could be, mentoring could be, whatever. And I always believe that it's not necessary from every single thing what you do, you will achieve what you want to achieve. And I always give a quote: when you don't get what you want to get, when you don't get what you want to get, what you get is an experience. And learn from that experience and move ahead, because that experience will teach you so many things. Never compromise on your curiosity. Asking the question is the best thing in the world. And if someone has asked you the question, reflecting upon that question and thinking why he or she had asked me that question and how do I act on that question in my real life or answer the question. So these two things, curiosity is the most important thing in our life. We should never compromise on that. When you go to, like, for example, now we are talking to each other, and if you have a question in your mind, please ask the question after we have, anyway, we have a question and answer session. But if you don't ask the question, you are at the loss, not the speaker is at the loss. Because you are carrying that question in your mind, hey, I should have asked this thing to Sunil, or I should have asked this thing to Ashish. And it remains with you, and you will never get an answer to that question unless you meet that person again after 6 months, 3 months, and ask that question to that person. So I think we are almost at the time, Ashish. I just want to quote finally that I remember a famous poem which is very popular in nowadays on social media. तू अपनी खूबियां ढूंढ, कमियां निकालने के लिए लोग है. अगर रखना है कदम तो आगे रख, पीछे खींचने के लिए लोग है. सपने देखने हैं तो ऊंचे देख, नीचा दिखाने के लिए लोग है. अपने अंदर जुनून की चिंगारी भड़का, जलने के लिए तो लोग हैं. प्यार करना है तो खुद से कर, दुश्मनी करने के लिए तो लोग हैं. रहना है तो बच्चा बनकर रहे, समझदार बनाने के लिए लोग हैं. तू बस सवार ले खुद को, आईना दिखाने के लिए तो लोग हैं. खुद की अलग पहचान बना, भीड़ में चलने के लिए तो लोग हैं. So I'll stop here. And Ashish, I think it's a very interesting thing and it relates very well to me. And I don't know, I saw somewhere this on a YouTube video or somewhere long time back, and I immediately noted it down. It very nicely includes the things what I have done or what I would like to say. Last one, not the least, is you have a right to ask me a question. And there's a famous joke. Idi Amin was the dictator of Uganda before the current dictator, and a reporter went to them in a press conference and they told Idi Amin that, hey, sir, we are the reporters and we have a right to ask you a question and you have to guarantee us the freedom, right? Because right of a reporter is to ask the question. So Idi Amin made a comment that, yes, I will guarantee you freedom to ask the question, but I can't guarantee you freedom after the question.
Thank you.
So I am still guaranteeing you freedom after the question also. So please ask the question. Thank you very much.
Idi Amin was
Thank you.
very intelligent.
Sorry.
Idi Amin also was very intelligent. That means he could promptly answer it.
Yes, he was very intelligent. Very true, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil sir, for such an amazing session. And I get goosebumps, whenever I listen to Sunil, and I've had the privilege of having many such interactions with him. Before we open up the session for Q&A, I will request you to take 30 seconds to fill out the feedback form. The link has been shared in the chat. It's a simple 30-second, maybe less than 30 seconds. Please fill out the feedback form and type FD in the chat so that we know we have your responses. And then we will open up the session. And while we are waiting to hear from you, Sunil, I must share how thankful we are to you for taking out time. We know the multiple responsibilities you have, and you have a commitment right after this session. So truly appreciate your taking out the time. Friends, please quickly fill out the feedback form. Thank you, Ashish, and type FD. And thank you, Mukesh. Thank you, Surya sir. Please use there is a raise hands in the reactions button. Use that icon to raise your hand, and then we will be happy to take your questions one by one. Questions or comments. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Ashish. So, and yes, Surya sir, you have a question or a comment?
I have a question about the mentor. How we could find the mentors on the subject?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to. Yeah, can you repeat the question, please?
You said that you have to find the right mentor.
Mentor, how do you find the right mentor?
Yes, very good. Interesting question. Finding a right mentor is difficult, but what I have done is like at each stage of my career, I define what is the ideal mentor I would like to have. So I put it down on a piece of paper. Okay, I want a corporate mentor. He should be at the CXO level. He should have time available to give it to me. He should be open to give back his knowledge or his wisdom. So I write it down like a expected job description of my mentor. What is in my mind? Then I identify 5, 6 people. Again, network. Again, your network is very important. From my network, I see who is the right type of person in matching to my expectation in my job description. I go and meet them one-on-one for a coffee, tea, or whatever it is. And I request, sir, I need your mentorship. Can you please help me? And then I will tell what is my problem, why I want your mentorship and all those things. Out of 5 people, maybe all 5 will reject you. They're saying, oh, we don't have time. That's very highly possible. Don't get frustrated. Go to next 5. You will definitely find one of the person, and that's why I said it takes time to find the right mentor. Don't go to anybody and say that you are my mentor. No, choose your mentors very carefully. Explain to him the purpose of mentoring, what you want to achieve from that person, and always remember: once a mentor, always a mentor. Never throw out that mentor. Abhi mera kaam ho gaya, sir. Abhi mere ko aapse kuch lena dena nahi hai. That's not the approach of mentorship. And we have a great Guru Shishya Parampara or coaching and mentoring nowadays. We talk in a big way. It really helps in your life. And I'm doing that as my profession also now. I've studied psychology. I understand what's the importance of having a counselor, a mentor, a coach. So this is a simple way of doing it. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, meet as many as people possible, and then identify one from them and start the discussion.
This is mentioned in your book also.
This process is not mentioned in my book, definitely not. But I was a dean of IMA's mentoring program worldwide for 3 years. IMA Leadership Academy's mentoring program I created, and I conduct a full session on mentoring. If you want, Ashish, your organization can invite me. I can conduct a full session of 1 hour 30 minutes on what is mentoring, what is the roles and responsibilities of the mentor, mentee, how to identify the right mentor, how to create a mentor expectation document. Everything we can do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, that would be
It'll
very
be,
essential. I think that is useful.
yeah, we're already getting such a fantastic response to that, Sunil. So definitely we'll reach out to you and block your calendar for a session like that. Thank you, Surya sir, for asking that wonderful question. And now I would like to invite Dr. Abhishek for his question.
Hello, hi. Thank you, Ashish. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is Dr. Abhishek, basically from Pune, settled in Bangalore. Sorry, I'm slightly unwell, unable to switch on my video. Quickly, sir, it was a beautiful session, Sunilji, and bravo to you and all. Good luck to you for your future also as well. Well, I have one question, related to mentorship only. A specific mentor, when you say a spiritual mentor, you had a guru.
Yes.
I do also have a guru, and at times, when you were in a foreign land where you saw that there was a bribe involved and things like that, there was a disconnect in your mind that this is not what I want things to happen the way it is happening, and I don't want to be part of that. So such conflicts, how do you manage, and how much has the spiritual mentor helped you in achieving what you have? Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Abhishek, great question. Let me be very frank. When I was going through that problem in my life in South Africa, my personal values conflicting with corporate values, I was not having spiritual guru or spiritual mentor in my life at that point of time. That was very early in my life. I was young that time, and unfortunately, I had no. I think that time I had only one mentor who was based in India, and he was not a spiritual or philosophical mentor to me. So what I did is, to be frank, I survived there. I would say I survived there. I lived in South Africa for 1.5 years. I realized this problem within 6 months. After that 6 months to so total 18 months, first 6 months to identify the problem. Next 12 months, I was myself reflecting upon, thinking upon what should I do? What should I do? Children are going to the school, so much money is being paid, a big position. If I go back, what will happen? Typically, what the society will look at me, a second time failure and all those things. But at some point of time, your what you can say, your value system created within your family, particularly my parents, they always told me that integrity, loyalty, honesty is above par. No compromise on those things in life. And that's the values of lower middle class or middle class people. So I decided, and I had an open discussion with my wife, particularly. My children were too young that time to discuss, but I felt discuss with my wife, hey, it seems that I'm not enjoying my life here. We need to go back. And thanks again, family support. Within 5 minutes, she said, Sunil, if you're not comfortable, don't work here. It's not correct for you. I tried to convince my elder son, who was that time around 10 years old or 11 years old. He sort of didn't understand what is happening exactly. He was obviously unhappy because leaving a nice British school, again going back to India and all those things. But I think over a period of time, he realized. So, yeah, that time I had, and I think that also made me think that I need to have different types of mentors for different types of problems. Before that, I never had this type of problem. So that I would say that was the trigger for me to have a philosophical or a spiritual mentor, which happened in my life much, much later, only in last 10 years, I would say. Thanks.
Beautiful, sir. Beautiful, amazing. So how do you find a mentor, and mentor who coincides with your frequency and your dreams?
So one is the spiritual mentor you will not find. I mean, very difficult to find. They will find you, right? That's the Indian philosophy. You know that, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but your leadership mentor, your life mentor, or your career mentor, you have to find. And like I said in previous answer, you write down the job description of an ideal mentor you would like to have, and then you go with their job description. And job description is a little bit complicated word, but expectation. You go to identify 3 4 mentors and you ask them that this is what I'm looking for myself. Are you ready to help me? It's very important that a mentor should have commitment to help you. Without commitment, mentoring never happens. And it's a
Mhm.
lifelong commitment, or at least a long-term commitment. And then you identify who suits you. Sometimes maybe 100% matching may not happen, but I always say that 100% matching never happens in the life. Even 70% matching happens. Go with that, take a chance, take a risk, and move on.
Well,
Beautiful, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Amazing.
thank you, Dr. Abhishek, for that lovely question. And
One,
now we will invite
one
Dharmesh. I'll
personal
request you.
question.
Yeah, Suri, sir.
One personal question to our Mr. Our guide today. So he has said that he has risen from the average family. He has multiplied his talent from average family. Now, how much he expects from his children?
Great, great question. So very, very, very important is, okay, I'll tell you my answer. I don't expect anything from my children. None of I have 2 boys. One of them is a data scientist. One of them is in artificial intelligence. They're doing good job on their life. I'll tell you what I told them when they both went study abroad. Both studied in England for undergrad and master's degree. I told them 3 things. I'm sending you abroad because now I can afford you to send abroad. My father was not able to afford me to send abroad. I had to struggle myself. And I have written that struggle in my book, how it was difficult for me even to get 400 rupees from my father every month because he was a school teacher. My children, I told 3 things. You're going abroad. I'm not sponsoring, but I'm going to spend money on you. 3 things. If you don't stood first in the university or college, no problem. No compromise on value systems of our family, number one. Number two, I don't want any time to listen anything to do with the drugs and maramari and police complaint and all those things. The moment anything like that I hears or I comes to me, I will disown you as my child. Just straightforward, open discussion. And third thing is never respect women all the time in the life. The moment I find anything small thing that you are not respecting women, be it your class teacher, be it your girlfriend, be it your mother, be it your anyone, that's a big no-no from me. So these three things I told them. I said, go and enjoy the life, become something in your life. Don't try to follow the steps of your father. And thank Touchwood, they're doing good. And they have not given me complaint of all these three.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I
Thank you, Sunil
wanted
sir.
to transfer it to my children. That's why I asked you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
And we have
I
finished.
understand, this is such a wonderful conversation, and we would love to have Sunil with us for a long, long time. But there is a constraint of time I mentioned, and it's already 10 o'clock, and Sunil has a commitment. So we will, take these three questions with Dharmesh, Mukesh, and Ashish, and we will, Sunil, if it's okay with you, we'll close the session with that. And we will then invite, I'll reach out to Sunil on behalf of each one of you, and then invite Sunil for a 1.5 hour session on mentoring specifically next time. So,
Yeah, just small request, Ashish. Those who are not able to ask me the question right now because of the time, paucity of the time, they can write down their question and send it to me through a LinkedIn messaging or through a
yes.
WhatsApp messaging. I will definitely answer every single person out of that.
So nice of you, Sunil. We will be, after the session today, sending you a mail with the coordinates of Mr. Sunil Deshmukh, and the link to his book. So please, feel free to connect with him on WhatsApp, email, and also buy his book, which will be one of the best investments you could make in your life. So on that note, Dharmesh, please quickly keep your questions short. Uh,
Thank
yeah.
you, sir. Thank you. And so, a really inspiring story, and I think really we take a lot of inspiration. Just quick thing, you mentioned a lot of setbacks you had faced in your life. So, what kept you going in that time? Because I know, like, I had also faced, and the general tendency for people is give up. In your case, you had faced so many, a lot of them are in totally unknown territory, and you don't have any support system as well. So, what kept you going in all those times? How you are able to overcome that?
So thanks, Dharmesh. This is one of the best questions asked to me by many people multiple times. I will tell you what I used to do whenever I will get a setback in my life. I will go back to my roots and I will remember who I was at some point of time in my life. Means my struggle in my life, my difficult days in my life, my parents' difficulty, my parents' struggle in my life. I will remember all those things and I will take an inspiration from that. Oh, this has happened with me in my life. What worse than this can happen in future? And I will draw an inspiration from that and start doing better than what I have done in past. And in my book, I have written everything openly, that how difficult life was for me initially, how I failed and how people laughed at me. But I took that very positively and not as negatively. I still do that. It's not that I don't fail now. I still fail sometimes. I go back to my roots. I think my kaun tha, main aaj kaun hu. I have overcome all these problems in my life. So why not now? So that's how I do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharmesh. Yes, Mukesh, over to you. Yeah.
Namaste, Sunil sir. Jai Shri Ram. I
Yes.
had a question, but Surya Vijay sir already asked you and you have answered it. My question was, if there is a young guy just out, he has done his graduation and MBA, what would be the three things you would tell him if he follows you and takes action? He would look forward to reach to your level. What are the three things? And you answered it, sir.
No,
Great,
but
great.
I'll still tell you, I will ask him to dream big. Do not compromise on your big dreams. Very important. Unless we dream big, we will not become big. And big is a subjective term. I'm not saying it can be anything. Number two, discipline and commitment. You might be IIT gold medalist, you might be IIM MBA gold medalist, you might be MIT PhD, but if you do not have discipline and commitment, you are not going to make it. And I have proved it wrong multiple times to multiple people. And third is very, very important, according to me, is a consistency. Whatever you do, you have to do it consistently, not one time or two times. You have to do it again and again and again and again. And even if you get bored, you have to still do. A lot of young students come to me and tell me, I do coaching. I coach students free of cost, by the way. Every month, I coach at least 10 to 15 students free of cost. Those who are not earning money, I don't charge them money. That's my basic principle.
Wow.
Students come to me, young student who joined the company, and they said, sir, I'm doing my job in my company, but I don't like my job. It's the most common problem I face today. I said, tell me what percentage of your job you don't like. Can you define what you don't like? They can't define that.
Wow.
They said, नहीं वो हमारे कंपनी में जिम नहीं है, हमारे कंपनी में अच्छा कैंटीन नहीं है. I said, this is nothing to do with the job.
Correct.
So people have problem is perception. People's perception have changed so much nowadays. They are not able to differentiate between what is right and wrong, what is appropriate, what is required for a job and what is not required for a job. So I educate them that your job is to do the work. Your job is not to go to the gym in the office and have a 5-star hotel lunch in the office. So it takes time.
So all these years that you are abroad, various countries.
Yeah.
Which was the country you felt the best to work with?
To work with?
To work.
Obviously, I would say Singapore, being very transparent, no corruption. My value system matched very well. I lived 10 years for there, longest in my life. And professional people, everything works. Electricity never goes off. Internet never shuts down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Great
Mukesh.
46 minutes. Had definitely the best of this week.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ashish, over to you.
Thank you, Sunil sir, for sharing your life history. It's I know it's been quite a roller coaster, and you shared some small tidbits which all of us should take away. I have one question. I have multiple, but I'll just stick to one question only. When did you decide to shift from identifying mentors to identifying coaches? Because it's an important call for me that I want to figure out. I've tried a few coaches, but I want to figure out how to identify a good coach, and then how do you build from there onwards with them?
So this is a very interesting question. Let me tell you, there is a difference between a mentor and a coach, right? One need to understand that in a very simple term, a coach never tells you what to do. Coach only asks you the question, and through the answers of those questions, you should find out the right path. That's coaching. Mentoring is a mentor will ask you right question. A mentor will also help you to create the right answers. After you give the right answer, a mentor will handhold you to an extent to ensure that you're doing that work. So that's the difference. So you need to decide at each stage of life whether you need a mentor or you need a coach. I use the mentor very oftenly or very commonly. Indian mindset, Indian culture is that we want quick advice, right? We always want, अरे उसने solution तो दिया नहीं ना boss, क्या फायदा में 2 बार उसके पास गया, इतना पैसा दिया, solution नहीं दे रहा है. This is a mindset. That's why mentoring works more in India and coaching works less in India. But at some point of time, when you reach a particular stage in your life, you are like say 40, 45, whatever, 50, when you want to define a purpose of your life, redefine the purpose of your life, you need a coach than a mentor. So this is a simple answer. Identifying a right coach, we'll discuss that separately because it's a long discussion process. But feel free to connect me and ask that question again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashish. Very thoughtful question. And on that happy note, we will bring the session to a close now. Thank you, each one of you, for joining us today for this wonderful session. We'll be sharing the recording and the link to the coordinates of Mr. Sunil Deshmukh with you. Please stay connected with us. If you're not a member of Mindful Living, please join our community and be updated about the awesome sessions we conduct every week. Next week also at 5 p.m. we have a wonderful session with Mr. Gaurav Rampal about his lovely book Jhumri Talaiya to Kentucky. So how this boy from Jhumri Talaiya went to Kentucky and how he made a name for himself. That's the topic of our session next Saturday at 5 p.m. So stay connected with us and join Mindful Living community. Spread about the word about the work that we do. Helping people become conscious live consciously and become conscious leaders. Mr. Sunil Deshmukh, thank you so much for being with us today in the morning. And any last comment before we draw the session to a close?
No, thank you very much. I enjoyed. Unfortunately, my full screen has become a short screen now, but I come from the old generation where there was no screen. So even if there is no picture, I can still talk. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend and, great week ahead. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday, 5 p.m. in a session with Mr. Gaurav Rampal. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. Bye. 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 Bye.
Thank you.